You were not born ordinary. The world may have convinced you otherwise. It may have buried you beneath expectations, smothered your fire with doubt, and told you to wait your turn. But somewhere deep within you, beneath the habits, the fear, the overthinking, there lives a version of you that is unstoppable, unshakable, undeniable. That version of you is not a dream. It's not a fantasy. It is a memory waiting to be awakened. But here's the truth the world doesn't want you to know: you don't become that person someday. You become that person today. Not when the money comes. Not when the recognition arrives. Not when someone else gives you permission. But now, when you make the decision to act like the person you want to become. Because identity is not something you wait for. It's something you embody. Every time you wake up early when your body wants comfort, every time you show up when no one's watching, every time you speak truth instead of fear, you are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And if you do that enough times, your brain, your spirit, your destiny begins to follow. You want to be disciplined? Then act with discipline before you feel like it. You want to be confident? Speak with conviction before the crowd believes you. You want to be successful? Make decisions like someone who already is. This world bends to those who walk with clarity of self. Because most people are drifting, looking outside for answers, waiting for signs, hoping someone else will crown them worthy. But those who rise, those who become legends, they don't wait to be told who they are. They declare it. They decide it. And then they act like it until the world adjusts. So ask yourself, what does the person I want to become do differently today? How do they walk into a room? How do they handle adversity? How do they spend their mornings? What do they say no to that I still entertain? There's a reason why you feel stuck. It's because you're still making decisions as your current self, not your future self. Your habits are memorized comfort zones. They protect the identity you've outgrown. But the real transformation begins the moment you start making decisions from the identity you desire, not the one you inherited. This is the secret no one tells you. You don't get confidence, then act. You act, then gain confidence. You don't find clarity, then take the leap. You leap, and clarity arrives in motion. You don't achieve greatness, then feel worthy. You feel worthy, and greatness begins to follow. The mind is like a compass, it points in the direction you condition it to believe. And every day, you're either training it to stay small, or you're training it to step forward into power. So what are you practicing? Doubt? Excuses? Waiting? Or are you practicing courage? Conviction? Self-leadership? Because life responds to the person you present. If you walk like a victim, life will hand you chains. But if you walk like a leader, life will make room. You were never meant to shrink. You were born to expand, to embody the strength of the legends before you. And that begins not with a plan, not with a motivational quote, but with an act. One act of defiance against your comfort. One act of boldness in the face of fear. One act of saying, "This is who I am. And I will show you, not someday, but now." There is no destiny without discipline. And discipline doesn't come from motivation, it comes from identity. From becoming the kind of person who does hard things without needing applause. From choosing the higher path when no one is watching. From holding the line when everything in you wants to retreat. You see, every excuse is an invitation to stay the same. Every moment of hesitation is a chance for the old version of you to reclaim the throne. But the person you want to become does not negotiate with weakness. They don't justify mediocrity. They rise before the alarm. They push past resistance. They act from decision, not emotion. And if you want to change your life, you must do the same. Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't time. It's identity. You're one decision away from rewriting the entire script. But only if you have the courage to burn the old one. Acting like the person you want to become is not pretending, it's remembering. It's remembering the strength buried beneath years of doubt. It's remembering that greatness is not earned through comfort, but through repeated confrontation with your limits. And here's the paradox: the world treats you according to how you treat yourself. If you carry yourself like you matter, opportunities will find you. If you walk like you belong, doors will open. If you act like a person of vision, purpose, and unstoppable commitment, the world will bend to that energy. Not because it's fair, but because most people never do. They wait. They scroll. They wish. They overthink. They retreat. They beg for certainty in a world that only rewards conviction. But those who walk in the spirit of who they are becoming, they create momentum where others see walls. And so must you. Because pretending to be small doesn't serve the world. Shrinking your voice doesn't save you from failure, it only guarantees regret. Playing it safe is the slowest form of self-destruction. You were not given a mind so you could paralyze it with doubt. You were not given a voice so you could silence it with fear. You were not given dreams so you could bury them under convenience. You were given all of this so you could lead yourself first, then others. So you could rise, fall, rise again, and in doing so, become undeniable. But that journey begins the moment you say, enough. Enough of waiting for the right time. Enough of doubting your worth. Enough of tiptoeing around your potential like it's some fragile thing. It's not fragile. It's fire. But it only roars when you move. When you act like the person you want to become, your thoughts sharpen. Your back straightens. Your choices align. The chaos starts to make sense, not because the world changed, but because you did. And that shift is violent in the best way. It destroys your comfort. It offends your excuses. It dismantles every lie you've told yourself about why you're not ready. You are ready. Not when it's perfect. Not when it's safe. You are ready the moment you act like you already are. So from this day forward, stop explaining your dreams to people who've quit on theirs. Stop negotiating with the part of you that wants to coast. Stop acting like your future self is some distant fantasy and start living like they're already watching, because they are. Every move you make now echoes forward. And that version of you, the one who's achieved it all, they're not waiting on motivation. They're watching to see if you'll rise. They're watching to see if you'll take the first step without knowing the whole path. Because that's the test. The universe does not reward the hesitant. It rewards the bold. The ones who move with faith when logic has no answers. The ones who trust that identity leads action, and action shapes destiny. You think the person you admire got there by luck? No. They got there because every single day, they did the things others refused to do. They sacrificed comfort. They embraced discomfort. They wore discipline like armor and walked straight into the fire, not because they weren't afraid, but because they refused to be owned by fear. That's what it means to act like the person you want to become. You walk into the gym when your body screams no. You sit at the desk when the world is out partying. You say no to the easy road and yes to the path that carves character into your bones. You do this not because you love the struggle, but because you love who you're becoming. That person, the one you keep picturing, the one with strength in their stride and clarity in their voice, they are not just a dream. They are waiting. Waiting for you to step forward. Waiting for you to finally say, I've had enough of being half of who I am. And when you do, when you step into their shoes, even if they feel too big at first, something shifts. Not just in you, but around you. Because your energy becomes magnetic. Your presence becomes undeniable. People start treating you differently, not because they've changed, but because you have. You start making decisions with authority. You walk like you belong in the room. You speak like your words carry weight. And they do. Because now, you're no longer borrowing belief. You're becoming it. You're not asking the world for permission, you're taking responsibility. And responsibility is power. When you take ownership of who you are becoming, you strip away every excuse. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop looking for signs. You stop blaming your past, your parents, your environment, your pain. You realize it was never about what happened to you, it was about what you choose to do now. And what you choose now is everything. You choose growth over comfort. Vision over distraction. Purpose over popularity. You choose to be the one who goes first, the one who wakes up early, trains harder, learns faster, sacrifices deeper, not for applause, not for validation, but because it is who you are. And when people say, "You've changed," you smile. Because they're right. You've evolved. You've become dangerous to the lies that used to control you. You've become a threat to the mediocrity that once defined you. You've become a walking embodiment of what happens when a human being stops running from their greatness and starts acting like it's already theirs. That is power. That is what every legend understood. Lincoln wasn't born with gravitas, he built it through hardship. Disney wasn't handed a vision, he fought for it with every ounce of belief. You are made of the same material. You have access to the same fire. But the fire only grows when you feed it with action. So stop sitting on your hands, waiting for destiny to knock. Get up. Move. Speak. Build. Work. Fail. Rise. Repeat. And in doing so, you will kill the old self not with violence, but with truth. Because truth is this: you are already everything you're seeking. It's just buried under behavior that no longer belongs to you. Let it go. Let go of small thinking. Let go of weak habits. Let go of needing the world to understand you. The only understanding you need is between you and your future self. They are already living the life you want. They are already waking up with joy, focus, and strength. They are already making moves that change the course of history. And all they're waiting for is one thing: your decision. Your decision to rise. Not to try. Not to see how it goes. But to rise. To draw a line in the sand and say, "The old me ends here. From this moment forward, I am the future. I am the standard. I am the one I've been waiting for." You must understand, this decision is not a one-time spark. It's a ritual. It's waking up every single day and choosing alignment over emotion. Choosing action over anxiety. Choosing discipline over doubt. And with every choice, you're either voting for your future or reinforcing your past. There is no neutral. The mind is like soil: what you plant, it multiplies. If you plant fear, you grow paralysis. If you plant excuses, you grow stagnation. But if you plant belief and water it with action, the harvest will be extraordinary. And here's the deeper truth most people never grasp. You don't just become the person you want to be by acting like them, you become them by suffering like them. Every version of your future self went through a crucible. They were built through setbacks. Sharpened by rejection. Forged in the flames of failure. So don't you dare back down when life gets hard. That's the test. That's the initiation. The fire isn't there to destroy you. It's there to burn away everything that doesn't belong to who you're becoming. Every hardship is a question: are you still committed? Every delay asks, will you still move? Every failure whispers, do you really believe? The answer can't be spoken. It must be lived. Show it by waking up with intention, not just a to-do list. Show it by building, even when it feels invisible. Show it by being loyal to your future, even when the present doesn't reward you. Because here's what most people miss: consistency is not glamorous. No one claps for the quiet days. No one sees the lonely nights. No one applauds the reps, the cold mornings, the cancelled distractions. But that's where greatness is built. In silence. In solitude. In decisions that look small, but create a future that's massive. The person you want to become doesn't need motivation. They've moved beyond it. They run on mission. On fire. On non-negotiable commitment. And the moment you start living from that place, everything changes. Your words carry more weight. Your presence commands attention. Your energy repels distractions and attracts alignment. People feel it before they even hear it. You become undeniable. Not because of what you say, but because of what you embody. And that embodiment creates momentum. And that momentum attracts opportunity. And that opportunity becomes reality, not because the world gave it to you, but because you became the kind of person who was ready to receive it. Let the others wait. Let them scroll. Let them postpone their future for the illusion of ease. But not you. You're done living in the waiting room of your life. You're done letting fear make your decisions. You're done outsourcing your worth to the opinions of people who don't even know where they're going. This is your revolution. Not the kind with noise and fanfare, but the quiet kind. The internal kind. The kind that starts when a human being looks in the mirror and finally says, I am ready. Not ready to hope. Not ready to wish. Ready to become. And becoming isn't magic, it's motion. So move. Move like your future depends on it, because it does. Move like your name is already written in the book of legacy, and your only job is to show up and earn it. Move like you are the one who breaks the cycle, redefines the story, and changes the meaning of what's possible in your bloodline. Because you are. You are not average. You are not here to survive. You are here to lead, to dominate, to elevate. And the only way to do that is to act like it. Now. Now, before the world gives you a reason. Now, before the fear tries to speak. Now, because delay is the thief of destiny, and your time is no longer up for negotiation. This is the part where most people retreat. They get inspired, they feel the fire, and then they wait for a sign, some perfect condition that never arrives. They let the fear of looking foolish rob them of becoming legendary. They hesitate at the edge of the cliff, forgetting that flight only begins after the leap. But not you. Because you understand now, who you become is not written in your blood, it is carved by your decisions. You were not cursed with limitation. You were crowned with choice. And the person you want to become is not somewhere in the distance. They're right here, within reach, waiting behind your next decision. So stop pretending you don't know what to do. You know. You've always known. You know you need to wake up earlier. You know you need to stop numbing yourself with distractions. You know you need to stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. You know you need to silence the noise, tighten your circle, fix your posture, control your emotions, sharpen your word, and walk with intention. You know it. So act like it. Act like the one who's already earned it. Act like the one who already lives with purpose in every breath. Act like the one who was sent here not just to exist, but to ignite. Because this world is starving for people who live in alignment with who they truly are. It's desperate for men and women who move with clarity, who carry the torch through the darkness, who remind the rest of us what it means to be alive with fire in the eyes and a mission in the soul. You don't do that by talking about it. You do it by becoming it. Right now, somewhere, someone is praying for a miracle, and that miracle might be you. But they'll never see it if you stay hidden behind fear, behind comfort, behind delay. The future is calling. It doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a committed one. One who's all in. One who's done dancing with excuses. One who understands that the cost of your dreams is not money, it's identity. It's being willing to become the version of yourself who is worthy of what you're asking for. So walk like it. Speak like it. Work like it. Live like it. And don't just act like the person you want to become. Act like the person you were born to be. Let them call you obsessed. Let them say you've changed. Let them laugh now, because they won't be laughing when they're watching you lead. This is your moment. This is your time. This is the hour when you stop hoping for transformation and become the transformation. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because the crown doesn't go to the one who wants it. It goes to the one who acts like they already wear it. So rise. And don't just act like the person you want to become. Become them. There is no finish line for the person who has truly awakened. Because once you become, you realize you were never chasing a goal. You were chasing alignment. You were searching for that sacred state where thought, word, and action move in harmony. Where the man or woman in the mirror is no longer a stranger, but a warrior reborn. This is what it feels like to finally live without contradiction. No more saying one thing and doing another. No more making promises in the daylight and breaking them in the dark. No more self-betrayal disguised as waiting for the right time. You are done with all of it. You are now the storm, not the one sheltering from it. You are the lion, not the sheep. You are the signal in a world drowning in noise. And that power, that identity, it multiplies. Because when you live as your highest self, you give others permission to rise as well. You become a mirror, a beacon, a standard that exposes comfort and challenges weakness. Your presence disrupts the room, not because you demand attention, but because you carry intention. And now, the world begins to reflect your inner transformation. People notice. Opportunities shift. Doors open. Resistance gives way. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You stopped acting out of fear. You stopped chasing validation. You stopped asking for direction from people who never left the shore. Now you move like water, flowing, crashing, unstoppable. Now you walk like a king, like a queen, not above others, but above your old self. Now you speak not to impress, but to impact. And everything changes from here. This isn't a temporary high. This is a permanent rewiring. Because the person you want to become is no longer a vision, it's your reality. You no longer fake confidence, you embody it. You no longer dream of greatness, you execute it. You no longer visualize power, you radiate it. And when people ask you how you did it, you won't say luck. You won't say connections. You'll say this: I stopped waiting, and I started acting like the person I was meant to be. That was the shift. That was the moment. The moment you stopped outsourcing your destiny and owned it like a crown. The moment your feet hit the floor with purpose. The moment you stopped needing a map because you became the compass. And here's the ultimate truth. The person you've become is only the beginning. Because now you understand the formula. Now you've felt the fire. Now you know that identity is not inherited, it's chosen. Over and over and over again. Every morning. Every moment. Every decision. So keep going. Keep sharpening. Keep rising. Keep building.